Hello everyone, a very warm welcome back to my channel. So we are back with another video. I know that it has been a long time since I made this video, but it's still I was not able to make due to some reasons, but it's still we can still start with it, and it's a good time to start it. So we'll be starting up with a new module, that is Indian polity, constitution and governance. And the topic that we are going to start today is one of the most important topic, that is the fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so we will be starting up with this topic. So before starting, let me introduce you quickly that this is the channel Avan Onjo, and in this channel we have already done many of the UPSC preparation sessions, and there are many of the video lectures in which we talked about in-depth studies about various topics. I've already covered two things, that is bilateral I've already covered in my previous lectures, and we have also covered many topics of internal security, and almost it is done. We are just left with some topics which I'm going to cover soon, but we have literally completed 95% of this module as well. So this is already done, and now from this today onwards we'll be starting up with this particular module, and this is completely free for all of you guys, so you all can join in and you all can learn with me. And I believe that these educational things needs to be free of cost for the people who cannot afford it. So this is here to help you all. And if you haven't subscribed yet, so just go and subscribe, because this gives us motivation to make more videos. We get to know that yes, you guys are liking the videos and you want to continue with these videos. And at the same time, if you like it, just don't forget to leave a like and share it with your friends who need it, who cannot afford coachings and all. So they can of course watch this video anytime, and you can incorporate all the answers, all the discussions that we do in your answer writing ideas. Okay, so without any further ado, let's begin. So as I told you that we'll be starting up with fundamental rights of Indian Constitution. So when I talk about the fundamental rights, so the fundamental rights are basically like there is a 6 divisions that are there within the fundamental rights. First one is it will begin with article number 14, okay, and it will go up to article number 18, and all of these covers the right to equality. Okay, I'm just giving you a brief overline of this, that how does it work. Okay, then we have the article number 19 to 22, and it goes up till freedom of speech and expression. Just pardon my mouse today, it's a bit okay, it's a bit problematic today. Freedom of speech and other other things we'll be talking about. It basically comes under this freedom of speech and expression. Then we have article number 23 and 24. Okay, and these two articles basically deals with the right against exploitation, right against exploitation. Okay, then we have the other rights, that is from 25, article number 25 to 28, and all of these deals with the right to religion. Okay, and then we have the other rights beginning from 29 to 30, two rights which are under the right to minorities or cultural and educational rights. Just write the full form. I don't have the space, so I'm just writing it like this. Okay, so these are the some rights. Then we have article 31 also, which is not now, it was earlier there in the constitution. Now it has been removed, and instead this article has been moved to article 300A, which we'll be talking about further, which this right is basically the right to property. We'll be talking about this as well. It is no longer a fundamental right. Okay, so then we have a very important article, which is let me write it here only, article 32, which is right to constitutional just write the full form. Right to constitutional remedies. This is a very important article which is basically a safeguard for people, um, for protecting their fundamental rights. Okay, so if there is any kind of violation of fundamental rights, so through article 32 they can approach the highest court, the apex court, that is Supreme Court, directly, and we'll be talking about it in detail as well. Okay, so I'll be talking about each and every article in detail, all the sub articles which are there within it, like various clauses and various sub clauses. We'll be discussing all of them, okay, in detail, and I might not be able to cover all of them in this particular video, and I might be making two parts. So let's see how it goes and we'll accordingly decide. So first of all, let's start up our first, that is right to equality, that is article number 14 to article number 18. But before going to that, I would like to explain you what is actually fundamental rights, because we need to know it, right? We need to know the correct meaning of fundamental rights. Okay, so before coming to fundamental right, there is another aspect, that is of human rights. Now you will get to know, this is a kind of a Venn diagram that I try to make here, but it's for your explanation. You can make it very nicely by drawing it with your hands. So currently I'm just limited to this only, so pardon me for that. Okay, so let me talk about the human rights first. So human rights are basically the rights which are there with us, with the human beings, by our virtue of being human. Okay, so there are many of the rights, but all of these rights are not in our constitution. Okay, there are only some rights from these human rights which are there in our constitutional, and those human rights which are there in our constitution is what is known as fundamental right. I hope you can understand the analogy. The first and the foremost thing is human rights. Okay, so human rights are basically the rights which are there with the human beings by the virtue of their being human. Okay, and whereas these fundamental rights are those rights which are there in the Indian constitution, and they are basically having a law backing, and they are constitutional rights. Okay, so through this Venn diagram you can understand it even better if I would like to explain it to you. So this human rights is basically this larger circle. Okay, so this larger circle is what is human rights, which is the bigger, you can say the bigger area. Okay, and under the ambit of human right is what is fundamental right coming. This smaller circle, I hope it is visible, and this is the smaller circle is what is the fundamental rights. Okay, so you can say that all fundamental rights are the human rights, but all human rights are not fundamental rights. Okay, fundamental rights lies in the ambit of human rights. Okay, so I hope this analogy is clear to you all. Okay, if it is, then we'll move forward with our discussion. Okay, so one more thing I would like to add on here in the human rights case. So there is a very important organization which is called as UDHR. Okay, and what is this organization? This organization is basically United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. This is an organization which is headed by Eleanor Roosevelt, who was the wife of Franklin D. Roosevelt, and it is an organization which is made up of 50 members, and basically it is in United States of America. The headquarters are there. Okay, and they are basically there to protect, not to protect, but to they're basically there. This institution is what looks forward and uh, you can say propagate the human rights, and they are the one. This is a big organization basically, and they are the these are the organization which have many articles also, and they basically are there to protect the human rights. But all the judgment that is passed by UDHR is non-binding. Okay, like if there is a violation in a particular country or something relating to the violation of the human rights in any form, okay, then they could of course intervene, but their judgment, or if somebody approaches them, so the judgment is not going to be binding. Okay, they are not having any kind of law related backing, and they have the non-binding verdicts. Okay, but of course it is a well developed organization, and it of course creates political pressure upon countries, and which often leads to them rectifying any kind of violation of human rights. So this is the idea, and this is UDHR. This is very important from the human rights point of view. Okay, if you guys have understood this particular Venn diagram, and also let's move forward then. let's take a fresh. Oh, I already have yellow. Yeah. Okay. So now let me begin with article right to equality, that is article number 14 to article number 20. No, sorry, 18. Sorry, article number 14 to article number 18. Okay. So first of all, article number 14. What does it state? I'm giving you a brief outline that everyone is equal in the eyes of law, that is equality before law and equal protection of laws. Okay, this is what is said in article number 14. Then we have article number 15, which state that there should be prohibition of any kind of discrimination on the basis of, on the grounds of race, caste, sex, religion, place of birth. Okay, then we have article number 16, which states that equality of opportunity in the matters of public employment, okay, needs to be there. Then we have article number 17, which states that there this is basically the right against untouchability, very important. All the articles are important actually. So we have article 18 finally in under right to equality, where it is the abolition of titles. Okay, so these are all the rights. This is the basic outline I gave you. Now I'll start off with the discussion of article 14 first of all. I should just a minute. Yeah, so article number 14, keep up the heading as article number 14. Okay, so I said that there should be equality before law. There are two concepts. Okay, first one is equality, that is equality before law. I'm not going to write too much on screen, I hope you understand. Just write down what I'm saying. Okay, equality before law, and then we also have equal protection of laws. Just keep on writing. Okay, I might not be writing every word on screen, but you should write. Okay, equal protection of law. So these two terms are having very different meaning, and these are often clubbed together by many people, and you can say that this is a misguidance or something, like they didn't they have, I think there is a lack of knowledge related to this, and I hope that I will be able to clarify it. So these are the two different concepts. This is not same. Okay, so if I talk about equality before law, so equality before law was basically a kind, an idea that is taken from UK, okay, United Kingdom, and this idea, that is equal protection of law, is taken from USA. So what is the difference? First of all, this states that there should be, everyone should be equal in front of law irrespective of their status. Okay, so status doesn't matter, everybody is equal in the eyes of law and nobody is above law. So it basically specifies a thing that is called as rule of law. There is a rule of law. Okay, we'll be elaborating on this as well, but everyone is equal in the eyes of law, nobody is above law, and law is supreme. Okay, this is idea is taken from UK. Now if I see this idea of equal protection of law, so this states that this concept basically states that equals should be treated as equals. Okay, so if there is a society that is unequal, so in that case everyone cannot be, you know, put on a, everyone couldn't be on a same platform. Okay, they cannot, all of the people are not equal, and if some people are not equal, so to get them towards equality there could be some special provisions, and there is a concept that is called as positive discrimination. Okay, so there can be certain special provisions for them, positive discrimination towards them, that is going to help them uplift and come to the equal status with the whole of the society. Okay, and why I said that this concept is taken from US, because in US the society is unequal, whereas when we consider UK, so more or less the society is more of equal. Okay, so in that sense law is applicable to everyone in a similar manner, and whereas when we compare it with USA, so in that case the society is unequal, and there are special provisions like for blacks. Okay, for blacks there are reservation of seats in USA as well. Okay, so reservation is there in USA as well. So we need to know that, because many of the people have this doubt that reservation is only there in India, but in some on the other form, in I think in all the countries of the world there is some form of reservation in all the cases, okay? And that is something which is called as positive discrimination or affirmative action. Here comes the scheme of reservation. Okay, we'll be discussing reservation also, and this is a kind of a positive discrimination to help uplift the underprivileged people. Okay, so this is what is the difference between equality before law and equal protection of law. Equality before law is only applicable when the society as a whole is equal, and equal protection of law is there where first of all we have to get unequals towards the equality, and then we can apply this equality before law. Okay, so this is the basis, this is the foundation. Okay, first of all, like the countries where there is inequality, then the state needs to work on this particular thing. Okay, that's why we have some special provisions for women, children, and some underprivileged castes, SC, ST, OBC. Okay, so I hope this distinction is very clear. Okay, now there are certain you can say exceptions to this particular provision of article 14. Okay, so who are not answerable? As I said that everybody irrespective of their status is equal in front of law, but only exception is President of India and Governor of India. Okay, so both of them they are not answerable to ordinary court. Okay, they are not answerable to ordinary courts, and and when they are discharging their official duties. Second exception is there couldn't be any kind of criminal proceedings for, again, president and governor. Okay, so there cannot be any kind of criminal proceedings against them while in their office. Okay, third exception is that there couldn't be any kind of civil cases against them. Okay, then we have against them, and even if they are there, then there should be a prior notice of 2 months. 2 months before the notice should be handed over to them. Okay, then we have another thing that is for the foreign diplomats. Okay, so the foreign diplomats who are residing in India currently, foreign diplomats, okay, they are not answerable to the courts while discharging their official duties. You have to just keep this word in mind that for president, governor, and everyone, it is during their official official hours while they are in their office or discharging their official duties. Okay, so these are the certain exceptions to this particular the 14 article. Okay, now let me shed some light on the topic which I told you that I'll discuss, that is called as rule of law. Okay, so I think that I would be able to cover only article 14 in this video properly, and then we'll be starting up with article 15 in next video, and I'll make sure that videos are more regular from now on. Okay, so rule of law. What is rule of law? First of all, who announced it for the first time? It is by Lord Dicey, D-I-C-E-Y. Okay, Lord Dicey, and in United Kingdoms. So it was first first announced by him. Okay, it guarantees equality before law. Okay, what does it state? That any of the person cannot be a subject to any kind of harsh or uncivilized or discriminatory treatment, even if it is maintaining, even if that particular treatment is for maintaining law and order. Okay, they cannot be a subject to a harsh, uncivilized, or discriminatory treatment. Okay, it also ensures that there is no other arbitrary power other than the supremacy of law. Law is supreme, constitution is supreme, and all the laws that are passed by parliament or legislature must be in consistency with the provisions of the constitution. So you can say that the constitution is the supreme, and all the government, all the parliaments, legislations, everything has just got birth from constitution. So they are a they are a creation of constitution. So constitution is supreme and everything should be in consistency with the constitution. Okay, and there is a particular law also for the things which are against the fundamental rights, against the constitution, that is article 13, which we are also going to discuss, because that is also important when we are discussing fundamental rights. That is very important, and in the next session only I'll discuss article 13. If there is some kind of parliamentary law, okay, that is being passed, and if it somehow it violates the fundamental rights, then Supreme Court has a right to declare it invalid or void. Okay, we'll be discussing whole of it in detail, in depth, because that is also very important. That is article 13. Okay, coming back to this, so this is all what is called as rule of law. Basically, law is supreme, constitution is supreme. Idea has been taken up from Lord Dicey. First of all announced it, idea has been taken from UK. Okay, now I hope that I have cleared you what is the difference between the rule of law and equality before law. If all of this is clear, so I'm just going to end this video right here. So I hope you understood it very well. I know that this video was short, but I'll come up with the next video which is going to be in depth, in detail. This is also in detail. We have basically completed article 14 discussion. Now I have to start with article 13 and then we'll move to 15 also, 16, 17, all of it till article 32. We'll be discussing all of it under the fundamental rights topic. So I know that there would be many more parts. I think 3-4 parts would be there, or minimum 3 would be there. Okay, so I hope you understood it very well. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. You can also press the bell icon if you want to know that whenever we upload a video you can get a notification, and also leave a like for us, subscribe and share it with your friends who need it. So a very much thank you to be with us, bear with us till here. Thank you so much. Have a very nice day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.